Hi, my name is Devin Knight. I'm the Director of Training here at Pragmatic Works, and today I have some hot tips for you on the top 5 things that you should be looking for when you go to purchase online training, or e-learning, another way of looking at it. And so what I'll do is give you these tips and hopefully it gives you some guidance whenever you go to make an online training purchase. There's a lot of places you can go find free training, but there's some problems with that free training that you really can't get unless you go and make a purchase. And so let's talk about some of those things and some of the things you should be thinking about as you're looking for different e-learning systems. The first reason that we're going to talk about is the focus of the content. So there's a lot of platforms out there where you can go find material. You can go on YouTube and you can find a lot of material. But you can also go look at a lot of other training course material that you have from different companies. But the problem that you'll find with most companies is they're not focused. Same thing with YouTube. They're not going to find much focus there at all. With certain platforms, what you want to look for is focus in on a certain area of IT or whatever it is that you're trying to learn. So if you're trying to learn a Microsoft stack like SQL Server or Power BI, you want to go to a company that actually has that as their expertise. They focus in on those things, maybe the more data-centric training. And luckily, that's actually one of the things that we do at Pragmatic Works. Our training is very data-centric focused. The next thing that you should look for is reporting. Okay, and what I mean by this is the ability to actually look at the content, and not only the content, but the usage that your users are doing. So say, for example, you make a purchase and you buy 100 seats of training. You want to make sure that those 100 people are actually using what you bought. And so that's why we have a set of reporting that's built into our platform that actually allows you to verify that not only people have logged in, but also be able to see what kind of percentage of completion they have on courses, how they scored on certain assessments. And it's really important that you have that to be able to validate that what you're paying for is actually getting the use that you intended to. So reporting is a big aspect here. The next reason here is a learning path. Learning paths are really helpful to kind of give you guidance on what things you should be taking, because for a lot of people, they don't really know what courses they need to take. They just know that I need to learn how to do X. I need to know how to build reports. And so based on that, knowing that they need to be able to have an end goal of build reports, it's important to have some kind of a learning path or a guidance that shows them what courses they need to take to become an expert in that field or an expert in that certain role. And so our platform actually has a learning path that comes with it. It's an interactive learning path that you can select the role that you want to focus in on. And by selecting that role, you're then able to actually have some guidance on which courses you should take next. So whether you're a DBA or a report writer or a Cube developer, you can select the appropriate role, and then it gives you guidance on what you should do next. The next topic here that I want to talk about, the number 2 reason, is virtual mentoring, or some kind of a mentor that allows you to have, in addition to recorded training, which you normally have with e-learning, is having some live person that you can talk to. We have something called virtual mentoring. That's really the specific name that we call it. And basically, virtual mentoring gives you the ability to have that almost like a consultant in your back pocket, where you can talk to someone live whenever you get stuck on something. So whether it's something you got stuck on in an actual class or something that you have now gone back and you're trying to implement something at your office, virtual mentoring gives you the opportunity to talk to a live person. This is something that not many training platforms or e-learning platforms have available to them, is that ability to talk to a live person. That's something that we provide. But the number one thing that you should be looking for whenever you're going to make an online or an e-learning purchase is the content depth. So you want to look and see, how deep is this content? Is it something that I could have simply gotten from a webinar, like a 1-hour webinar or a 2-hour webinar? Or is it something that actually goes in depth into the topic? Because there's a lot of training that you can find that is, fairly short. It might be 2, 3, 4 hours long even, but it just doesn't go to the depth that it needs to into that particular course content. And so that's why our content is very focused and very in-depth in the areas that it focuses in on. For example, we have an advanced T-SQL course that's about 14 hours long. Now, of course, we're not going to make you take all 14 hours at one time. We have each of those videos broken up into 30 minutes or less, so it's much more consumable. But it is a very in-depth course where you're going to get, as you can imagine, after 14 hours of just video content, not including the labs and the quiz assessments, you're going to get a very good look at how you can build out advanced T-SQL content. And we have multiple courses that are like that are more than 10 hours, that walk you through these topics in much more depth than you can get anywhere else. So that's really what you should use, and what you should look at for guidance whenever you're going to make an e-learning purchase is look for these 5 things. One was you need focused content. It needs to be focused on data-centric content, because you can find a lot of content out there, a lot of e-learnings that have multiple types of different learning. So it might be .NET and SQL Server and Photoshop, but you want to find one that's very focused in the area that you care about. Reporting was the second piece. Reporting gives you the capability to actually monitor what your users are doing. Having that learning path was our next piece that we talked about. That learning path allows you to see what things should I be taking. It gives you some guidance on what the proper things are to do. Number 2 on our list, second to last one here, was having a mentor, having a live person that you can actually talk to when needed. That's kind of a thing that almost is forgotten in many e-learnings, but we make sure we include that. And then the top reason here, of course, is that depth of content, being able to go deep into a topic area and getting every bit of it you can out of it in a certain course. And that's what we make sure that we provide here at Pragmatic Works through our on-demand training platform. And if you're curious about more on this, feel free to email me at training@pragmaticworks.com. I'd love to talk to you more about what we're doing here. Thanks a lot.